is implementing SoLAR project along with IWMI and of course our various country partners who are present today. As part of this project, one of the interventions that we did was we set up an innovation grant fund, which was not a big fund that we had in place. Under this, we offered grants of up to about $50,000 for innovators, entrepreneurs, researchers to do some innovative work with solar energy and solar agri space. And in this session, we will get a chance to sort of get a bit of a learning from these people in terms of their working experience. And I think I'll keep it short because, as I said, we are rather constrained here with time. But unfortunately, at the end of this session, we don't have time for asking questions. Let me just make this very clear. So I suggest we finish on time so that we can get about 15-20 minutes of break. Tea time. Yeah. Let's try and talk to each other then, or otherwise afterwards, in the evening there's a social excursion. Try to make the best use of that, dinners or lunches and all. So I apologize for that upfront. I'm afraid that would not be feasible. May I start by inviting Aakriti. Thank you so much, Aakriti Srivastava, for joining us. She's coming from Urmul, a very interesting application of solar, in Rajasthan. Is that right, Aakriti? Over to you.
Thank you, Divya. Somebody sent you a presentation, Karsan. Did you see it? Okay. I don't want to show it. Sure. Thank you, everyone, and firstly, especially the whole event organizers, bringing so many people from so many different forums together. This has been one very exciting gathering, and getting to know so much about such wonderful interventions and such wonderful innovations all across the country and of course globally. I am presenting today about how Urmul Seemant's model through the Bahula ecosystem has helped creating livelihoods for small and marginal women farmers in Rajasthan. Now, when I talk about Rajasthan, we as Urmul are working for the past over 3 decades in the Thar Desert. When you hear about Thar Desert, there is a very, there's a picture that is played in most of our heads that, okay, a land with no water, scarce natural resources, little livelihood opportunities, distant settlements. All of that is very true in case of these deserts.
Sorry, can you just kind of squeeze the next page? Yeah, sorry.
Yes. So with very frequent migration, drought challenges, limited natural resources, Thar Desert is one of the most challenging arid zone in the country that needs a lot of interventions and holds a lot of possibilities for the communities and contributes a great deal to the ecosystem at large. A very distinct desert ecosystem in itself that has housed multiple indigenous plantations, indigenous contributions to a greener, better future. Now, Rajasthan traditionally has not been an agrarian economy, as most of us here know it, especially the Thar Desert. The communities in the rural space have mostly been dependent on animal husbandry for all their livelihood requirements. However, what are some of the most critical challenges that these communities face? Being an animal husbandry or cattle rearing economy, there is an acute 40% of shortage of green fodder in these areas, which amounts to around 260 million tons, which affects 70 million farmers in these areas, 70% of which are mostly women. So cattle are mostly taken care of by women in the rural households. There is an extreme temperature variability ranging between 0 to 50 degrees Celsius, which leads to little to no growth of green fodder range, resulting in 15 to 25% loss in dairy income, because there is a fluctuation of milk production constantly in these areas. There is almost only 3 to 4 months of fodder available. And because more and more dry fodder is fed to the cattle in these areas, a single cow on average produces between 70 to 120 kgs of methane per year. Now, what is it that we are doing? And mostly dealing in how the overall dairy value chain could be a response to the larger clean energy discourse. We need to look at these numbers as to how 1 kg of milk generates almost 2.5 kgs of CO2 equivalent, 40% of which comes from feed that we make available to our cattle. 50% of this comes from the processing. How do you handle the milk, cooling, storage, transportation, and some 10% from manure. What has been our solution to the IF grant is that we have our fodder solution has helped reduce almost 25% of the 40% emission from feed. We have a processing facility that runs on 100% clean energy that takes care of almost 45% of the 50% generation from processing. And our biogas manages, we have deployed biogas units in the village centers at farm level that helps manage 10% from manure, promoting clean energy from women farmers. Now, what we have here is a model that has laid a very strong foundation for a net zero dairy in the coming decade. Bahula is the name that takes us all together in this journey towards net zero. Talking a little bit more about the innovation that we have deployed on ground. We have installed solar powered microclimate controlled vertical farming systems or hydroponics machinery that harvests high protein fodder of about 96 trays every day, even in the extreme summer months. So this solution has extended the fodder availability from 4 months to 10 months a year in the rigorous Thar desert climate. This tray is delivered at INR 40 to in Indian rupees 45 to 50, and per tray contains almost 4.5 to 5 kgs of fodder that is good enough for one cow's daily consumption. We have recorded increase in the milk yield as well as the fat content in milk in every day, therefore resulting in incremental income of the farmers. Now, what makes us different? Hydroponics as a technology has been existing even otherwise, but how is this one specifically different is through, because you need to look at these numbers of where is it that we are operating. In an area with almost 7 total average rainy days, 49 degrees to 2.2 degrees temperature variability, 11 hours of sun on an average every day. Despite that, this technology has helped us provide solution with a capacity to produce almost 100 to 170 tons of green fodder per day, fiber rich, protein rich, moisture rich. It uses 95% less water, 95% less physical space, and zero grid energy. So completely solar run. It can avoid 8.9 tons of CO2 equivalent and reduce 1.4 tons of it. And this has been a certified results on life cycle analysis as per EU standards, extending, of course, the fodder availability from 4 to 10 months. With this technology bringing in a new paradigm shift in the dairy sector of the Thar desert altogether in the regions that it has been deployed in, these are some of the current benefits that we are reaping. Of some 3 quintals or 300 kgs of wheat grass being produced every day, in the winter months. In the summer months, producing 500 kgs of maize grass for cattle per day per station. And we have these 2 stations installed, one in the Bikaner district and other in Jodhpur. These stations are now self-sustaining and are providing livelihood to 2 micro entrepreneurs, 2 women farmers who run them. There has been a registered increase. You also need to look at how it is not just ensuring economic benefits directly to the farmers who are deploying it or are exercising it at their farms, but also how it is incrementally benefiting the cows that it is being fed to, with a recorded 1.5 liter increase in milk per day and a 0.5 to 0.8 liter increase per liter increase in fat content. Of course, giving larger possibilities, better possibilities of enhanced income. Through DRE, these units per unit has produced almost 30 to 50 units of electricity in an year. So how it is all, it is not just contributing to the community, but also to the environment at large. Now, what I want to come to the next part of it is, as Urmul Seemant, we deployed these technologies, we piloted these technologies in the remote areas of Bikaner, near the Indo-Pakistan border. For the first few years, there have been a lot of trials and errors, but today we very proudly say that we have been the first to deploy this technology, to pilot this technology, and also to commercialize it. To elaborate on that, welcome to Bahulaverse. Now, for us, these fodder stations are not just an infrastructure operating in silos, but how it is connected to a larger network of input support or larger network of organizations in the overall ecosystem, ensuring better income, incremental income to farmers, better returns to the environment. At the center of this image that you see here, don't think this works, is the agri-pastoralist. So this is the community that we majorly cater to. The agri-pastoralist, rearers of free grazing cows, sheep, goat, camels, donkeys in that region. How in the very first layer of support, we ensure, we give community, we do community mobilization, sensitization, awareness on different issues, best practices, linking them to various government schemes. This next level of input support services, wherein we ensure better quality feed, better quality seeds, biofertilizers, technology like biogas, technology like instant milk chillers in the most remote villages for better milk collection and good quality milk reaching the right, reaching the processing units. And in the third level, how do we institutionalize this entire value chain through formations of SHGs, FPOs, and enabling, facilitating better micro entrepreneurs to come up in the process as leaders. This center, this universe then brings all its products to its village centers, from where it goes to its milk processing and the agri processing units, and all culminates in the form of Bahula. So Bahula is this social enterprise that is promoted by Urmul and hosts all these different elements, hosts all these different input services, community together, and links them to market. So far, we have been able to successfully impact 1,000 farmers, some 4,000 pastoralists, and in the last 1 quarter have ensured $31,000 US income per month to these agri-pastoralists through better quality milk that has been inflowed in the system. Yes, one, I think this is the last. Last slide. So going back on how Bahula is hosting all these different services and how critical or instrumental is the fodder station in this overall discourse, enabling the agri-dairy value chain and network of activities from production to processing to market linkages. We have a constant and enhanced supply of good quality milk, good quality pastoral milk. We're dealing in something as perishable as camel milk, sheep milk, goat milk, and how even these constituents are improved through infusion of these technologies, through infusion of clean technologies. How value addition at different levels is enabling a better market for us. So for instance, these fodder stations do not just help us get wheatgrass as fodder, but it also helps us develop wheatgrass powder, which is a superfood and consumed largely in the urban circuits for nutritional intake, for better nutritional intake. And a high market ensures the surplus goes back to the farmers. So full value chain of how, where it starts from the environment, it starts from the communities and goes back, closing the loop, profits preceding the planet. And in the end, you have, yes, the, I think,
Thank you so much, Aakriti. So the contribution or the small grant that SoLAR project has given is only part of the larger work that Urmul was already carrying out. You have to see their beautiful office. It's just amazingly gorgeous. I've never been myself, but I once attended a meeting where they were online, and I think it's something I do wish to go to once. It's
definitely, everybody. That offer stands for everybody.
Today I was telling her that
Yes.
let's go together.
we should.
So we are driving down. If you are interested, we could tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I know, but that's too early.
So next presentation. Thank you so much, Aakriti. This is from CINI. We have Ayan K and Mr. Reddy presenting the work they are doing in eastern part of India. Is that right? Jharkhand. That is magic. Don't ask me. I'm totally, technically challenged. I think those are the people who can help you maybe. You can't worry now. I think you might have.
So good afternoon to all of you. Me and my colleague Karsan, we are representing an organization called Collectives for Integrated Livelihoods Initiative. It's an organization promoted by Tata Trust, which has a mandate to work across Central Indian tribal belt. So the project that we are working over here is called Excess Energy Accumulation and Redistribution Network. This project is basically housed within existing body of work that we are doing. Shisher, to the next slide, please. Oh, I can go.
And that one doesn't work sometimes.
Okay, yeah. So this is basically a concept of a production cluster. We basically work in almost close to 200 villages within Jharkhand. And likewise in the rest of the 3 states. The basic concept of our work lies within in a concept called production cluster. This is basically a representation of what production cluster is. This is basically we work across the pre-production, production and post-harvest value chain in a group of 5 to 10 villages, basically to trigger a production of 5 to 10 metric tons per week, so that there is a buyer, the farmer trader interface at the farm gate itself. So over here, there are lots of enablers and actors. One of the enabler is, of course, the solar irrigation with precision farming, which is mentioned in point number 5. And there are other enablers like access to credit or access to healthy saplings, which is point number 3. Then post-harvest, which is cold storages, which is point number 7, 8. So this is overall the concept of a production cluster, so the village that we are actually taking you to in the next slide. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, so in Jharkhand, we are working across 7 districts, and over there we have installed close to 800 pumps, solar pumps.
To see what, yeah.
Yes. And if we consider the work that the government has done over the last 2-3 years, there is approximately there are actually 7,000 pumps of 2 HP and above which have got deployed across locations. So the context of Jharkhand where we are working is an undulating hilly terrain, where most of the almost 70 to 80% are tribal households, and who has almost 2.3 acres of land holding, and 30% of the area is still under food crop. And there are very strong grassroots institutions. Gram Sabhas, I mean the village community is basically governed by traditional Gram Sabhas, which is actually given rights by the government of India also under PESA. That's an act which is passed after 73rd amendment that is passed by the government. So we are basically working with these Gram Sabhas across locations. Now in the production clusters, though a production cluster, if it is having 5 to 10 metric tons of production, still what we see is that almost 10 to 20% of the area under cultivable area in Rabi and summer gets irrigated. Almost 900 to 1,000 hours is the annual irrigation that happens in this region. And when we talk about typically 5 HP pump, we see that 35 to 45% of its energy still is yet to get utilized. And the another thing that we have seen is that these solar pumps are basically getting evolved. I mean, solar pumps are getting deployed in a cluster. Say in a cluster of 500 meters, there are 2 or 3 solar pumps which are getting deployed, and this is gradually coming up as the schemes are further progressing, like the PM Kusum scheme that we discussed in this in the previous session. So over there we saw the opportunity, and this project that we are doing with with IMI is basically to see how this excess energy can be utilized from the existing solar pumps. Yeah, so the innovation or the thought process was basically creation of decentralized microgrids through aggregation of the existing solar pumps, and over there basically through this based on the community need, run the productive loads that the community wants for that particular location. And even with the system getting deployed, as there is a phased deployment of the solar pumps, there can be additional loads which can be brought into the ecosystem. And the other point that we basically thought of was basically having a community-based market wherein this particular productive load can be accessible to all the community, even those who are not producing energy. Second is basically access of electricity at a reasonable rate. And third basically is, of course, creating a village-based economy. So, this village, Saritkel, where we are working, the work is basically been done with the traditional Gram Sabhas that I briefly mentioned before. And over there, the implementing organization is Pradhan, one of the reputed grassroots agency, which is working over this in Central India for quite a long time. And this is, again, as we discussed, it is basically clustered within the production cluster, which has a very strong market interface. So over there, almost 3 years before, we had installed close to 6. This is basically the representation. This is the village. Village is basically lying in front of a small rivulet, which is perennial. Even in summer months, there is a steady flow. So of those 6 pumps, 3 pumps, we have what we have seen is that there is an availability of 3 to 4 hours of excess. The pump remains underutilized for 3 to 4 hours during the peak time also. From 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Instantaneous 9.3 kilowatt hour of power is available. During the day, even after calculating the losses. And based on the technical discussion that we found was that almost 7.5 kilowatt system can be installed by basically bringing together these 3 pumps. So based on the discussion with the community, mostly with the women in that particular village, what we basically came up with a conclusion is that 3 of the productive loads, which is basically oil expeller, rice huller, and flour mill, can be basically deployed over there, through which this, additional energy can be used. So this is, and the bottom is basically the schematic diagram of this particular scheme that we are deploying. You have inverters which are getting basically connected in each of the pumps, basically to convert the energy. And then there is a battery at the production center, basically to facilitate the surge that is to be generated. And over there, this particular productive load has to be, is basically discussed with the village council, that this will be done through one of the individual in the village whom they will be basically employing for running the system. So, this is basically the progress till now. This is one of the unique experience for us, because till now we have been working with the farmer producers organizations, which basically developmental agency basically facilitate to work with them from the beginning. But over here we have taken a challenge of working with the Gram Sabha. So Gram Sabha, Pradhan, and CINI, these are the 3 agencies who are working. So we have a tripartite MOU also, which has been signed out, wherein the roles and responsibility of all these 3 agencies are being discussed. And there is an orientation of the business plan, because Gram Sabha is a very fluid group. Basically bringing them into a very professional way of working. So there is a series of discussion. There is a series of business planning exercise also that we have done. Then there is a recruitment which has been undertaken through this village council. The physical work that has happened is the 3-phase distribution line has already been laid out. The Livelihood business center, in which all these productive loads have to be installed, is been put up, and the bill of materials, all the things that have to be procured are being done. Now we are in the phase of rollout. In the last 2 months, and probably with an extension of next 3 months, basically, the deployment of the system, and and we are expecting 3 business cycles to continue in this project period. That is basically what we will be doing. These are few of the pictures of the work that is there. This is the MOU that has been signed. Shisher is also over there in the picture. This is the typical Gram Sabha which happens, and this is basically the laying of the wire that is happening. So this is still a work in progress. We haven't completed the work, so that's why the picture of the progress has been shown over here. So this is the business plan. Briefly, we are sharing the business plan that we have discussed with the Gram Sabha, the village council, and which they have accepted. The total catchment area is of almost 400 households, of which in the first year, the idea is that 100 households will be brought into the business ambit. Over here, the energy cost that will be given to the pump groups will be 8 rupees per unit. With every day 20 customers coming in, the business generated will be of around 2,000 rupees. Considering the expenses, which are basically the manpower expense, the energy cost, and the machine maintenance cost, the broad visualization is that from that particular system, annually there will be a 43,000 rupees of profit generated in the first year, which might go into around 60 or 70,000 rupees in second year, with 150 farmers coming into the ambit. So these are the broad challenges. As the presentation flow was, onboarding of the Gram Sabha was definitely a challenge, because again, that's a group which we are trying for the first time. Convincing the 3 stakeholders together when there is slight change in the plan, because this is an innovation project. There has been lots of changes which have happened. So bringing 3 stakeholders together and convincing for the next step of action has always been a challenge. Explaining the technology and bringing a technology consultant into the remote area and basically guiding us through this entire process was again one thing that we found was quite an issue. The 2 futuristic challenges that we see is basically continuously generating the business for this particular, though very small micro enterprise, will be a challenge if we are really not working together, for the next 1 year. And basically continuous capacity building of the enterprise will be something which we will be working on. So this is broadly the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ayan. And I'm sorry I'm cheating here a little bit. You know, they were given 15 minutes. Because of the time, I've had to keep it shorter. But thank you so much for being your flexibility. Just for your information, so we ran actually two different cycles of the Innovation Fund grant. CINI Urmul actually came in the second cycle, which was only 2021, if I'm right. So it's only been about a year. Some of these grants are actually, are given for 2 years times. So some of the projects you will see are actually in the process of being implemented, and that's where our work with CINI is at the moment. Whereas I think towards the latter half, you will hear from projects which have actually had some more time to, mature a little more. But thank you so much. We have now online with us from Pakistan, I think Mr.
Dr. Basi is not there.
He's not.
Khalid, it should be there online. Can you please ask?
Can you please just check if he's there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to your presentations. Your really nice presentations. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It'd be nice if you can be a little louder.
Okay, I will try. I will try to be as much louder as I can. In order to share my presentation, I need you to stop sharing this presentation, which is at the moment. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Now I can share my presentation. Give me one moment. Oh, I closed it apparently. Give me one moment. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Just one moment, please.
Can you upload your presentation? So this particular innovation here was actually, as you know, groundwater is one of the topics that we address under the project. And this particular presentation or this innovation actually looked at integrating, water efficient technologies with.
Yeah. Okay. I think I am ready to share my screen now. Yes.
Responsive drip irrigation system, which is the water positive technology here they're talking about, and which kind of senses the kind of a chemical sensing of the woods, and it transmits the signal, and so it works even in the night hours, because normally we think that in the night hour there is no translation, but that's not so the case. So this is in that way it's just very efficient, because the roots sense the kind of the requirement for the water and then just transmit the signal.
Okay, this is my presentation. I guess someone else shared before I could share it.
Yes, we can see it. So if you would like to proceed, thank you so much.
Okay, so hello everybody. It's sort of unfortunate that we couldn't join here in person. So yeah, I will try to present what we have done in the last couple of years on this technology, which is called responsive drip irrigation, and we have tried to customize this technology in order to improve the livelihood of really small dug well dependent farmers, which usually do not get the benefits of from these modern technologies like solar or high efficiency irrigation systems. So can you go for the next slide? Can anyone change the slide? Yeah, okay.
Yes, we have the next one.
Yeah, thank you. So at the moment, the background is that we are facing Sorry?
Please go ahead.
Okay, good. At the moment, we are facing very immense water and energy crisis, and especially the rainfed areas are under very serious threats of agricultural water scarcity. And government is surely trying to give subsidies to the farmers in order to cope with this or mitigate these effects of water crisis and also the negative effects of the climate change. But most of the time, these big subsidies or subsidies on efficient irrigation systems or solar energy are usually available for big to medium to big farmers, and the small and poor and vulnerable farmers, they do not have the economic feasibility to get access of these subsidies. So in this project, we were trying to develop a system which is more feasible for really small farmers, so they can, and 90% of the farmers in Pakistan are small landholding farmers. So we try to develop this, try to customize this root demand irrigation system or responsive drip irrigation system, which is we try to customize it with solar power, so that the small farmer can also get benefit of the innovative solar power or solar pumping systems. So what is RDI basically? So what is the innovation? The innovation is to customize this RDI in order to get the benefit of the solar power for the small power, farming community as well. And the RDI is an irrigation system that consumes almost 50% less water than the conventional drip irrigation system. And it is said that it uses also like almost from 60 to 70% less energy as compared to the conventional drip irrigation system. And this innovation will provide a solution for a viable irrigation and agriculture production system for small farmers, will give the access of solar energy to poor and marginal farmers, and will also help in fighting against low or uneven availability of water and water scarcity. And also at the end, to enhance the irrigation efficiency of the system. And next slide, please. Yeah. So here I will explain that's how this RDI works. First of all, the RDI is a tube, simple tube, which has millions of small pores in a foot length area, let's say. And these small pores are micropores. And when the water is filled inside the RDI tubing, it simply does not leaks out from those pores unless the plants give hormonal signals in order to get water, because usually plants have that ability that they provide hormonal signals to search for water. And while these plants provide those signals or give those signals, these small pores actually opens up, and the water start to seep out from those pores until the irrigation requirement of the farm of the plant is let's say fulfilled. So this is a very simple technology, does not include any kind of electronics and any kind of irrigation scheduling equipment. It is simply a tube which is laid in the ground, and the plants basically, whenever they need the water is just available lying under the ground, and they give the signal and the tube starts to emit water, which makes it super easy to use. Because in other irrigation system, for example, let's say drip irrigation system or sprinkler irrigation system, the uneducated farmers usually have problems in understanding the irrigation scheduling and when to irrigate, how to irrigate, and how much to irrigate. While these problems are solved automatically solved in RDI. And one extra benefit of RDI is that usually for running high efficiency irrigation systems, there is a requirement of high pressure. For example, in order to run drip efficiently, the pressure requirement is usually 15 to 20 psi, and to run let's say rain guns or sprinkler irrigation systems, the pressure requirement is even 40 to 45 psi. While for operation of RDI, the pressure requirement is 2 to 3 psi. And with the low pressure, it means it uses less water and low pressure, that reduces the amount of energy required to pumping to very minimum, even 60 to 70% lower than that of the conventional drip irrigation system. And so how does this work? Like, we have this small, if you can see in the picture on the left, you have this small dug well, and we install a solar pumping system that fills the water in a tank which is a bit elevated so much so that it can provide 2 psi pressure for the system to operate, Once we fill that tank, it starts to irrigate the plants, and plants get water whenever they're required, because all the tubing is already under the sort of subsurface layers are laid and responsible drip irrigation. So it's very simple. The only thing we need to take care of is that we make sure that there is enough water all the time in the tank to create enough pressure for the system to operate, which is not a very challenging job for the farmers. Next slide, please. Okay, so what we have achieved in this project at the moment, well, we said that we will develop 4 sites or 5 sites in each province. However, due to certain reasons, including COVID, also the late start of the project and other things, we have developed 1 experimental site at NARC, Kavri, another replication of that site in Punjab, Thal region, and recently we completed a site in Lasbela, Balochistan, and Umarkot, Karachi. The sites in Lucky Marwat, KPK, and the sites in Karachi, Sindh, they are in the process at the moment. Still, the work is being carried out. Even today, I got the report that the system at Lucky Marwat, KPK is being installed. And we have grown. We have done a very detailed experiment at NARC. However, for the other side at Mankera Thal region, we just replicated our experiment, not our experiment, but we just demonstrated our successful model there. And now I'm going to show you the results of the experiment. Can you please go for the next slide? Okay, first I'm going to show the pictorials. So if the pictures you are watching in the top row are the experimental is the experimental site at NARC, and you can see in the left corner there is a small tank, elevated tank, which is filled by the solar water pumping system, and then the irrigation system operates on that tank. And the pictures in the second row are basically extension of that successful model at farmer field in Thal, which is a very sandy region. And then you can see the result of the crop and the harvest, and also the plant health, which clearly is presentable, and plants are in good health. Next slide, please. So at NARC, we carried out this experiment, and these are the details of the experiment. We had basically 6 treatments, 3 on orchards and 3 on vegetables. And we can divide these treatments into 3 irrigation systems: drip irrigation system, flood irrigation system, and RDI, which is responsive drip irrigation system. And the source of energy for each treatment was solar pumping. The size of plot for each treatment was 0.5 acre, and the location was Islamabad. And how did we irrigate? For flood irrigation system, we used farmer perception. Like whenever farmer feels the need of irrigation, he will irrigate the area. And in order to simulate the farmer, we hired a person who had a farming experience, and he would say us to irrigate, and we will irrigate the crop, either orchard or the vegetables, or the both. And same for the drip irrigation system, we followed the irrigation scheduling as per design, and for RDI, we didn't need any type of irrigation scheduling. And yeah, can we go to the next slide to show the results? Yeah, okay. So if we see these results, one of the first main finding was that in terms of yield, there was not any significant difference among the yield of vegetables or yield. We couldn't get any yield of citrus because the orchard was too young to get any yield in 1 year or 2 years. But we could not find any significant difference among the yield. However, if we look at the top right picture, we can see that the irrigation, the water requirement, the water applied for the flood irrigation, both for orchard and for vegetable, is way higher than that of RDI, and also same is the case with the drip. Drip also used more water than of RDI. And similarly, when we compare the energy used on these three systems for irrigation, we can see a clear difference between the energy required to irrigate with RDI as compared to drip irrigation and flood irrigation. And well, now from these graphs, what we get is that we have clearly found that we need less water and less energy to almost produce the same amount of the food from the same area. So now we go back towards the first, towards the main objective, that how this technology can help the poor. So if we need a really small amount of power, energy, that means we also need a really small amount of power, which reduces the cost of solar pumping system, which otherwise was super expensive to purchase and was out of the purchase power from the small farmers. Now you can see the design that for the vegetables on 1 acre, a solar pump which can be operated only by one solar panel is enough, and that makes solar technology super cheap and in very much access of a small farmer, which otherwise would have never been able to install solar pumping system at their farm because of the high prices or expensive capital or very high capital cost. And same for the orchard, we can see that it even requires less amount of solar power. So this customization of RDI with solar actually provides a solution of very high cost of solar energy or solar pumping systems. And by using like 1 horsepower or even less, half a horsepower pump and one solar panel, a small farmer can irrigate 1 acre of vegetable, and by producing high value crops, high value vegetables, he can improve his livelihood way better than the conventional methods of irrigation and conventional methods of agriculture he is using. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, okay. Okay, so what is the way forward now? So it's very important to understand that RDI is especially for vegetable is super good when you use regenerative agriculture system, because if you have to provide tillage after every harvest, then you have to dig out all the RDI tubings, and then it destroys or somehow damages the RDI tubings. So in order to make it a successful model, we need to promote the regenerative agriculture, which is also very healthy and which is also being promoted as a climate smart technology globally. We need also to promote this to the small farmers, and we need to train small farmers and develop this technology demonstration centers at many places so that farmer can make their trust that okay, this technology works and can produce vegetables even without tillage, because our farmers in our region has very huge well, let's say, belief that you cannot get good harvest if you don't use tillage properly on your land. Also, we need to continue the research for proper optimization of the developed solution in order to upscale this solution from 1 acre to, let's say, 10 acres or 20 acres, to include also the medium farmers into the picture. Yeah, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kamil. It's a pity that you could not join us here in person. I'm afraid we do not really have time for questions, but if you permit, we will, in case people are interested, we will be happy to connect them with you in case they have any further questions, if that's okay with you.
I'm super happy to answer any question.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. May I now invite Indranil from Switch On? So under the Innovation Fund, we not only looked at technical solutions, but also at financial and social models. So Switch On will present the work they've been doing on innovative funds. System. Over to you, Indrajit.
Yeah, thank you. So hello everyone, I am Indranil from Switch On Foundation, Calcutta, West Bengal. So I'm sorry my throat is a little bit disturbed, so maybe my voice will sound a little bit husky, but well, so before starting my presentation, let me give you a small introduction about the organization I'm associated with. So Switch On Foundation started their journey since 2008. And 2008, Switch On Foundation has led many innovative projects and incubated many ventures in the areas of renewable energy access, agriculture and livelihood, education and skilling. And in these areas, we have impacted more than 10,000 lives till date and 5,000 villages in eastern, western and northeastern part of India. Next slide, please. So this is the vision, mission and goal of our organization. Presently, we have two major verticals in our organization. One is CASC, Clean Air and Sustainable Cities, and another one is EWA, it's Energy, Water and Agricultural Nexus. Next slide. So this is the entire team of Switch On Foundation working for the projects. Next slide, please. So the project we have received from IWMI SDC SoLAR. So initially, when we started the baseline survey, we have conducted baseline study in 11 districts of West Bengal. We have realized that the women farmers, because still the starting point of this project, our focus is only for women farmers. And we have realized that they don't know the benefits and any information about the solar pumps. So when we started this project, so initial days, we got a very interesting data that the farmers we have reached during the baseline study, we have received that 38% are still using the diesel power pumps and 32% are using the electric power pumps. And the rest 30%, they are like, they don't even care. They can use diesel or electric water pumps, but they don't know anything about solar pumps. So in that days, we have taken the three major objectives of the project. One is create an ecosystem consisting of technological and financial innovations, because that is very important for the women farmers, and promoting the adaptation of micro solar pumps through awareness building, capacity building and training. And third one is establishing a revolving guarantee fund with the bank for the mini solar pumps for the women farmers, obviously, so that they can take this opportunity to install these mini solar pumps in their field very easily. Because initially when we started discussing with the women farmers, we have almost everyone told us that they like to do these solar pumps after giving them the awareness campaigns, trainings, but they have a financial lagging. For that reason, they can't even deploy the solar pumps in their field, because the mini solar pumps cost 2 lakhs of rupees. So it's quite huge for them. Next slide, please. So this is the program overview. So the potential women farmers groups who are in a need of benefits from installing the solar pumps, actually we started working with them, and the main intention of the women farmers are better income, increased agricultural productivity and sustainable environment. So farmers, why we started, giving them campaigns, giving them trainings, giving them knowledge building about the mini solar pumps, because we have seen that the farmers in the rural areas of West Bengal, mainly the women farmers, they often face the issue of soaring electricity, because initially they are using the diesel pumps and they are using the electrical, pumps which run by electricity. They face the issue of soaring electricity tariffs, struggle with erratic electricity supply, and dependency on rainfall for irrigation. So this is a major issue for them. So in addition to this, carrying heavy diesel pumps is extremely challenging for the women farmers. So to address this issue in a holistic manner, we Switch On Foundation initiated the project titled Mini Solar Pumps for Women Farmers with IWMI SDC SoLAR, which aims to increase the uptake of a technological innovation and usage of mini solar pumps among marginal women farmers in the rural areas of West Bengal. Mainly, mainly in Nadia and Mednipur. Next slide. So this is the revolving guarantee fund. Under the project, we have addressed factors leading to financial, environmental, social, and sustainability related solutions to women farmers. In this context, we have innovated a financial ecosystem in which a revolving guarantee fund is set up with a bank, with RBL Bank actually, to ease financing by providing collateral-free loans to the women farmers and give guarantee to banks on behalf of unbankable customers, especially women who do not possess land in their own names. And the project also focuses on institutional innovation in the form of, formation of water user groups, which ultimately enables solar pump users to commercially sell the surplus water to the local community members as an alternative revenue model. And then multiple exposure visits happen, multiple trainings has been done for the women farmers so that gradually they get, the prior knowledge, the mini solar pumps are concerned. Next slide, please. So the target group, I already mentioned, the target group for this project is we aim to install 20 solar pumps, 2 horsepower solar pumps for women farmers. These progressive women farmers were identified as the experts in using mini solar pumps to inspire others in their neighborhoods to take up solar pumps for better income and agricultural productivity and sustainable environment process. Next slide. So these are the key achievements what we have done in our project. So 20 solar pumps installed in Nadia and Mednipur, 356 women farmers sensitized through exposure visit, awareness campaigns, and multiple trainings, 13 exposure visit conducted, water user group formed, and sustainable livelihood avenues diversification has been done, an increase in awareness, knowledge, capacity, and skill of women farmers has been established, and FLDG model has been established as well. So next slide. So this is the case study of women farmers using mini solar pumps. So 8 women case studies has been documented. I'll show you in the next slide. Some key highlights from these case studies, what we have identified, it's income enhancement of the women farmers, additional savings has been done, time, cost, and manpower effectively, help their agricultural process. Women can carry out irrigation independently, and time for alternative source of livelihood has been generated. Next slide, please. So these are the success stories. Next slide. So these are the progressive women farmers identified across West Bengal. They mostly are from Mednipur, Nadia, and North 24 Parganas. Next slide. So 20 solar pumps installed in Purva Mednipur and Nadia. Next slide. These are the few pictures from the exposure visits in Jharkhand with women farmers. Next slide, please. These are the sensitization meeting in Nadia and Purulia in terms of mini solar pump awareness and knowledge building. Next slide. So these are the state level multi-stakeholder meeting in Calcutta promoting the mini solar pumps. And this is the due diligence visit by IWMI in Purva Mednipur. Next slide. So these are the major learnings from this project. One is farmers were previously skeptical of mini solar pumps, but now they have realized that water output is satisfactory even with little sunlight. So now they are adapting rapidly the mini solar pump concept. Next one is water user associations as acting as platforms of change for women as far as the livelihood is concerned. Third one is interest to add micro irrigation with solar pumps for sustainable irrigation has been done. So now I would like to tell you one thing, that the challenges we have faced during conduction of this project, mainly with the revolving guarantee fund. When we initially start the discussion with the bank, they are not at all interested about this concept. Because as Nitinji mentioned in the morning, the banks are always interested to give loans to the bigger farmers. where the return is actually sanguine or it's confirmed. But we are asking to give them loans to the women farmers who don't have a proper livelihood in their hands. So at that point of time, we give them this project that you better create a revolving guarantee fund. I'm giving you the fund. You make it as a guarantee fund for the women farmers. If some women farmers, somehow get a, come out as a defaulter, as far as this mini solar pump is concerned, then you can take that money from the guarantee fund we have deposited in your bank. So in this concept, initially the RBL Bank started a very, started this program. Obviously, they started that program initially, but they have a lot of questions in their mind. But gradually, after 1.5 years, when they have seen the the farmers are returning their money properly, and it's turned out to be a. Initially, they thought that maybe it's the entire money will go in vain because no one is going to return that money to the bank. But now the farmers are doing that in a very religiously. That no, they are getting the loan from the bank. They are implementing the mini solar pumps in their field. They are getting the livelihood opportunities. They're getting the proper income, and they are returning the money to the bank in a very. They have taken this as a very in terms of good practices. So now Punjab National Bank is also offering us to create such kind of a revolving guarantee fund with them, so that they can also reach to the rural areas where they have their centers, they have their branches. So it's a good thing. I can say that yes, obviously, when we conduct any project in any areas of West Bengal, there must be a challenge, but there is some learnings as well. So that's all with all my presentation. I think there is one more slide. It's a very important slide. Thank you for your attention. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj.
Yeah. Shall we ask that question?
Let's have that conversation later. May I now invite Suraj from Sharma Power. So this is about mobile urja. Thank you.
So good afternoon all. Myself, Dr. Suraj Kumar. I am holding a position of Vice President in Kalinga Renewable Energy Manufacturers Private Limited. So this company we have started when I was doing my PhD at IIT Bhubaneswar. So me and my supervisor had this idea, why not we will have some renewable energy concept to implement what we are doing in the labs. Why not we will do the same approach for the market or the society. Next slide. So in that we have multiple partners. So Karma, that is called the Kalinga Renewable, the FLISM, where we have got the flexible solar modules, then the MIT and the IIT Bhubaneswar. Next slide. So these are our team members. We have worked on all people have worked on this. Next. Okay. So what are the need and challenges for these things? So as we know, in India, there are more than 70 or 80% farmers are marginal farmers. And their land holding size is very less than 1 acre. And that those lands are not at one place. The multiple patches, one patch is here, second patch is there, and all that. Let's suppose I am a marginal farmer and I am purchasing one solar pump, whatever the size. We can put at one place, but we cannot irrigate the other places. So that concept we thought, and then we thought, why not we will relocate the pumps with some accessibility. Then the concept came pump on wheels. So whatever the module and pumps we have put on the wheels, we can travel. Those infrastructure can travel from one place to other places. But in that, what is the problem? Because those lands are not even. The travel or the transportation is very tough. So we have the concept of mobile urja. People don't have to transport the pumps. Each and every marginal farmer having their own pumps. Only the transport has to the power. That is based on the trolley. So every farmer having their own pump system, but for the energy, they have to share the model. Like the Ola and Uber concept. As per your requirement, you can book the facility, use it, pay the rent. That will help for the entrepreneurship model and the leveraging your system also. Like, okay, another example. in a year, 365 days are there. Let's suppose if I am purchasing a pump, how many days we are using it? Not more than 100 days. Because once you irrigate the pump, the water in the field, next day you are not using it because that is not required. Your investment is got stuck. That is ideal. So why not you share with others? So that concept came with the mobile urja. Whatever the energy that can transport, that can share from one place to other with the everyone. So these are the few examples which we have started in 2017. Next slide. Okay, so with the IWMI, we are addressing few things here: the gender equality, the clean water, affordable and clean energy with the climate actions. So in that, there are few problems. The first one is the diesel irrigation. Majority places where there is no electricity, no resources, the people are running diesel pumps to get the irrigation. In that, there is another thing happening with the climate. The over-utilization of the groundwater. Once the people don't know how much water they can use it and how much water they are withdrawing it. You can see at every places 5 years ago data or 10 years ago data, the water level is getting depleted. Earlier it was 30-40 feet the water is available, but now it is above 100 feet. Why it is happening? Because the people are using high rating pumps. Once they started running, they are not bothering about my water is completed, my irrigation is completed, I have to shut down. So those type of information has to share and to have to provide the knowledge to the society, so they cannot do that. So their solution is the solar irrigation and the sustainable utilization of underground water to educate the society, to educate the farmers what to do, what not to do. Next slide. So these are the two implementation places which we are working in Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. In Odisha, Koraput, there is a district where we are working. In Uttar Pradesh, we are working at a Badhaich location, which is nearer to the Nepal border. Next. So this kind of approach we have started earlier in 2017. Next. So this is just a few examples which I am sharing from the field. So, okay, next. So this we have done with the Pradhan in Bihar last year. Next. Play. It's a video. So this is the pump which we have installed in Bihar, Begusarai district with the help of Pradhan. So these are the mobile urja systems working with the traditional panels, with the silicon panels. This is the model which we are talking about. You can easily transport from one location to the other location. Okay, next. This is the another location, other installations with the Tata plant area with the Tata Trust people. So this is the half HP one pumps and the previous one was the 1 HP pumps. Next. So this is the another demonstration with the flexible panels. You can see the size of the flexible panels. Next. There is another video with the flexible panel, just show you. So each panel, the strip is having 110 watt peak. Next. Next. So we have tested these panels with the submersible pump as well as the surface pumps. The submersible pump is giving around 20,000 liters per day water discharge, and the surface pump is giving about 70,000 liters per day. So that will be sufficient to run your 2-acre to 3-acre land in a daytime. That will be a sufficient water. So here I will show you the demonstration of the panels, how to roll and how to use it. Just play. Okay, stop. So now you can understand what is the benefit. The traditional panel of silicons, which we are using it all over the system, those weights are near about 20 kg for one panel or 18 kg for one panel. These panels are coming with the less than 2 kg. So it will help you to it will provide you the easiness to transport from one location to the other location. It will give you, it is a efficiency is having more than 16% with the traditional one. So we have tested with the two panels, two set of pumps, half HP submersible and the half HP surface pump. So these are the technical specification of the system which we have tested. And this is the PV module which we have used for those testings. So it can roll about it can use only the 20 centimeter radius. So whatever the surface is yours, we can easily access, we can easily run, it can easily generate the systems. And also you can say all the remote locations are used with the solar pump. So it is easy to have the user friendly for the customer. It is easy to transport, easy to maintain. And it will also help you to generate the local entrepreneurship model, because like in a village, 50 farmers are there. Each and every farmer is having their own pump, but they can need only 4 or 5 Urja models. They can put on a rent, they can generate the revenue, then they can maintain it. Because sun is coming daily, they don't need to pay a single rupee for their input power. Next. Thanks.
Suraj, may I now invite Kiran from Gham Power to talk about their off-grid bazaar in
Thank you, IWMI, for organizing such an wonderful event and connecting all the innovators in South Asia. Am I audible?
You will not till now.
He didn't need to talk.
I know.
So under Solar IF, we proposed off-grid bazaar, a platform to monitor the solar water pumping system and provide agri-advisory system to farmers of Nepal. So moreover, next slide. Talking about the Gham Power, it is a solar-based company located in Kathmandu. We were established in 2010, and for up to 2015, we were working on rooftop solar system. Basically, in Nepal, when there was peak load shedding period. After 2015, the load shedding period was over in Nepal, so we shifted to farmers. We proposed new product, solar water pumping system. And in the year 2015, we installed about 50 pumps by collaborating with Ishimod, one of the organizations, Ayan K in Nepal. Then we realized that we need to understand the farmers. We have to create impact for those farmers who invest a lot of money in solar water pumping system. So we started building off-grid bazaar, basically to monitor the progress of the performance of the solar water pumping system, and we developed the iteration of the meter. We incorporated various agricultural sensors. Next slide. So the solution we proposed was yield improvement in a box that comprised of 3 parts, basically the solar water pumping system. The next was on the spot direct financing, because in Nepal, in a year, about only 1,000 pumps are subsidized, and more than 50,000 applications come over to get the subsidy. So to address the need of those farmers, we try to connect the farmers to the direct financing. So it was very difficult for farmers to reach out to banks and collect the money to finance for the solar water pumping system. So we reached to microfinances in Nepal, which are a great penetration in the rural farmers. And the next was to create the impact. We proposed in-house innovation, compound distributed, from which we formulated the data-driven crop planning. So the goal was to increase the 80% farmer income by 3 years of the installation of the solar water pumping system. Next slide. This was the implementation plan we have shared with IWMI. Basically, because during the 2020 and 21, there was COVID. So next slide. The targeted project duration was for 20 months, but we requested extension and the project was completed in about 26 months. This is basically the activities we carried out for 26 months. We extended 6 months to IWMI to complete all the tasks. Next. So the work package one, we completed this project in 40 years. So the first was the stakeholder training and onboarding. Basically, in Nepal, the farmers were unaware about the solar water pumping system would pump the water from the ground. So we need to convince those farmers. Basically, the farmers have the conception that if the solar could only be used to power the house. So to make aware the rural farmers that solar water pumping system could also be used to pump the water from the ground. To replace the diesel pumping system, we conducted about 26 field trips and provide training to 153 agents. These 153 agents are those persons who work in microfinances in Nepal. Basically, the microfinance based head office, and they have a lot of branches. So we reach out to the branches and train about 153 agents about the solar water pumping system so that they could dissipate the knowledge to the rural farmers when they go during the central meeting. And we also conducted about 30 on-site agri workshops. In every workshop, there used to be about 50 and more farmers. And basically, in the microfinances, about 80% of the members are women, and about 95% of the women are engaged in farmers. So basically, if we talk about the gender, 95% of the farmers in microfinances in Nepal, they are basically the female farmers. So we try to reach out them. And we also distributed 10,000 plus marketing materials and created 14 plus videos to generate awareness among the rural farming communities in Nepal. And we developed we did a lot of work in development of the OGB portal. We also developed Super Kitchen app while we are on the process of completing this project. We also developed OGB Connect mobile app. That was basically the mobile app to onboard the farmers who show interest for solar water pumping system so that we could convert them. So the farmers who show interest for solar water pumping system, they will be convinced to use the solar water pumping system. So next slide. These are the photos that we conducted the on-site field agri workshop with MFI agents in eastern Nepal. We reached 14 districts. We partnered with 4 plus MFIs, and we conducted a series of activities in 80 branches, and we trained about 250 plus staffs, including the agents and the other supporting staffs of microfinances. Next slide. This is the OGB Connect app. Basically, we made this app for the agents of microfinances. It is a very easy to use app. Before the app, the conversion rate of farmers was only 3%. That is, if we get 100 plus requests from the farmers, we were able to convert only 3 of them to install the solar water pumping system. After this app, it was very easy to onboard the farmers. The MFI agents go to field. If they show interest to the solar water pumping system, they upload their number. Then from our office, our marketing team convince them and aware them about the potential benefits they could get from solar water pumping system. And the conversion rate was increased to 6% from 3%. This is the microfinance partners we have partnered with till now, and that is the mobile app. Next slide. This is the next in-house innovation that we developed. It took about 3 years to develop this. Now we are commercially piloting and also commercially installing this system in the farms of Nepal. This we call Gram Power Kitchen meter. We have made this system for the vegetable farmers,
also for the fish farmers. Basically, we have installed about 60% of more of our farmers where we have installed the solar water pumping system are fish farmers. So we basically designed the geo sensor, diesel oxygen. We measure the diesel oxygen sensor, and we have made automated diesel aerator to aerate the pond so that we could increase the fish production by 40%. And we also have developed a monitoring system for tomato, broadleaf mustard, basically in high-tech farm where farmers grow crops. We also are piloting and commercially selling the compound meter. And this product is the innovation that was developed from IWMI Fund. Next slide. The next work package of impact measurement and validation. The development of that meter took about almost 3 years. Series of sensors were tested, and we also the performance was tested and validation was done. Calibration was also done with replication of experiments. And during this, to pilot the project, we partnered with AEPC. We obtained the list of about 30 plus farmers from various locations. We made scooping, and we finalized the 10 potential sites to install the ground power fixing meter. That comprise of the different sensors to measure the flow of water, to measure the water depth, and also 4 plus agricultural sensors were incorporated in the ground power fixing meter. We also developed a customized software for AEPC to monitor all those solar parameters. 2 versions were made for that, and we also, to measure the continuous impact measurement, we develop the iteration of the hardware as well as software so that we could ease the process of monitoring the innovation we have developed. So next slide. This is the photo during that our field staff took while installing the power fixing meter. The woman, the female, there is so very, very happy to look after the agricultural sensors. Next. This is the snap of the AEPC portal where we have installed about 14 total projects, and this was the photo, the snap I took in the morning. So at that time there was no sun, so still there were 7 active projects. Means we have a battery backup to monitor the agricultural field data. We have now 10 active projects out of 14, and these are the parameters we measure. We basically measure the solar current, solar voltage, the head, the flow, and the discharge. Also, we measure in agriculture, we measure the temperature, humidity, EC sensor, and EC humidity, and EC conductivity. This is basically to advise farmers about the condition of fertilizer in the field and the need of irrigation in the field. This is the next innovation that we have developed, the super kit circuit. We have almost about 4,500 active users. Daily 20.2% of the farmers daily engage on the. Basically, we provide training. We have provided about 52 virtual trainings from the super kit circuit. We have trained 3,277 farmers till now virtually from the super kit circuit. So next. The work package for it is actually a mass activation that we have proposed to solar IS. During this, we did a lot of solar demonstration in the field, about 20 plus sites. We also installed the agri sensor. Also, we did user testing for the off-grid bazar, basically going to the field after the installation of the sensor in the field, how they are performing, are they giving the real data or not. So we did the user testing as well. Also, we did the digital engagement and awareness generation with the end users. We reached out to 20,000 plus farmers digitally from the app, Zoom webinar, super kit app. This concept developed during the lockdown period that was actually during 2021 when there was a hit of the COVID in Nepal. So next. These are the photos that we did the field activities. Next. This is also the photo from the Eastern Nepal, where we do provide water training, also conducted the on-site agriculture training. Next. This is the DigiKids event that we organized with the stakeholders in Nepal. More than 75 participants were there, and 6 official representatives from different government offices were present. Also, different private companies were present. We share the results from the result that we obtained from the Ghampa PC meter. So the products are very interesting for, especially for the engineering students. Next slide. This is the site visit we did during the user testing.
Okay, we'll have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next. I think this is the last slide. So learning and challenges. This is very important because we have already wrapped the project, so we are closing the project very soon. The major challenge was COVID. During the 20 and 21, we encountered the imposed lockdown for safety concerns because of the COVID. For implementation of the project fully, this created a hassle. So it elongate the project period. And next, partnership with government institutions was intensive process. Basically to reach out to government offices to sign an MOU. It took a long period of time. So a bureaucratic process in Nepal is a bit difficult in Nepal. And next.
Everywhere.
That doesn't happen anywhere.
And basically, the innovation we have developed, at the present, we cannot now convince the farmers to use this system. Already the solar water pumping system cost around $3,000, and if we add additional this hardware, that will additional cost about $300. So that will be burden for the farmer. So for scaling and for commercial scaling, we are reaching out to other organizations so that we could pilot more of this innovation and create more impact. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And our director from Energy, they're also in Nepal.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I get to close this show. That's fun. Yeah, so I represent this organization called Minergy from Nepal. Can go to the next slide. So we've been working since 2008, and we work in multiple sectors through our multiple wings, like private NGO and research wing, to different sectors like R&D interventions, energy planning, building blocks, optimization, environmental studies, and all that. And next one. And we work nationally and worldwide as well. So let's get to the next slide. Yeah. So let's talk about the project area. It's a place called.
You can look there. And...
Sure. It's easy to say.
I know it's closer, but I think they would appreciate seeing you.
All right. So yeah, it's in a place called Devchuli in Bhavalpur of Nepal. And as you can see over there, if you're wondering what the project is about, so there are actually 3 solar irrigation plants located at this place. So like 2 of 10 kilowatts and 1 of 3 kilowatt. And the 3 kilowatt is non-functional right now, not our area of interest currently. So out of the 2, one was constructed by ASU, as you know, State University from the US. And so that is our primary solar irrigation of interest. Next slide. So yeah, setting up the backdrop of this project. Study by the ASU in the same site showed that around 70% of energy generated in the solar irrigation plant are being lost throughout the year. And since the irrigation pattern in most of the areas of Nepal are like around 100 to 150 days of usage, so we can assume that this loss occurs in most of the SIPs of Nepal. So alongside that, 3 years data log also shows that in the project area there is a trend of downward depletion as well. Next slide. And adding on to that, there are over 3,000 solar irrigation pumps already in place in Nepal, mostly through subsidy and development funds. But due to the higher front costs and all that, the small fragmented landowners are still left out of the subsidy program, because the rule of thumb is that to qualify for it, you need to at least have around 0.34 hectares of land. But the smallest landholder of Nepal has around 0.2 hectares, which can be seen in the slide as well. Next slide. So talking about the project area, it is run by this farmers cooperative called Kulini Research Samwa, which has around 52% Brahmin population demography. And over the span of 25-29, as I mentioned, they have installed 3 SLIs in the area. But currently, they are charging fees on an hourly basis for the uses. And the initial practice was like they only had open canals, due to which there was inefficient irrigation. They realized that a bit later on, and then they optimized. They switched to pipes, but without any design or calculation, which then led to damages and the pipes didn't burst. Due to which the plant now operated through like a semi-canal and semi-pipe system. And the second practice was that farmers to get to irrigate their land, those with the bigger land areas used to take more time while irrigating, obviously. So they also even used to prefer like irrigating during peak sunshine hours, due to which there was an unequal distribution of like turns for farmers who had like small land areas, and they even had to switch to price alternatives such as diesel pumps and all that. So this innovation is mostly to improve the access of such small landowning farmers while optimizing an existing system without actually adding on to the panel size or anything. It's just by optimizing the design of the existing SLI. Next slide. Yeah, so there are 2 approaches to this project. The first part comprises of optimization and the actual intervention, whereas the second is comparative research. Next. Yeah, so for this I have done this. Okay, so for the optimization and intervention part, it was mostly the baseline assessment of the SIP of interest at Kulini and stakeholder consultations, obviously. So it consisted of constructing an intermediate tank of 50,000 liters and maintaining pressure pipe and slope design so as to make sure that all the plots get an equal minimum discharge of 2 liters per second, even when all the 52 flow points are kept open, ensuring that everyone gets their turns fairly. And also setting up an operational modality and per unit tariff structure according to the flow meters, as well as promoting a dynamic QR-based payment to digitize the community. And then the post-installation assessment, which will also help in which will also help the community to realize operative end use that could be beneficial for the community. This could be a cold storage, this could be a simple mill, this could be anything. As the basis of our project is that 70% is being wasted in each SIP. Next slide. So the second part is the comparative research. So apart from the intervention, we've also identified 3 standalone and 3 community SIPs with similar socioeconomic context in the area. And we are also installing flow meters at the distribution point. This is mainly to carry out an assessment both technical and economic in terms of like water uses, energy usage and wastage and time required to irrigate, like pre and post implementation of our research, as well as the existence scenario in the standalone and the community systems. Next slide. So how do these align with the SoLAR objectives? Like, so the first one is that since this will be based on a simple subscription fee and a meter-based reading, the user numbers are now being increased from 36 to 52 in the user group, because those who have a small land holding can also afford to use the technology as per their need. And the second one is reducing barriers for sustainable adoption. And for this, we're hoping that this will help in generating evidences which will provide basis for policy advocacy for catering it to those with to the needs of the small and marginal farmers. And talking about sustainable use of groundwater resources, since it is currently based on an hourly system, they use it in a random fashion. But since after the intervention, the project will propose billing through a flow meter based reading system. The uses will be as per the need of the farmer. That's what we're trying to price over here. Next slide. So the outputs expected are that proof that water metering will reduce the excess groundwater extraction. Proof that metering system will make the technology accessible for those with low income background as well. prove that optimization of the system can increase the irrigation area while using the same amount of water. This kind of thing, like since the total available area is around 14 hectares, and currently only 7 hectares is being irrigated. But through we are increasing the pipeline from 700 to 1300 meters, and through this, the entire 14 hectares will now be irrigated, and including the small land areas that the farmers own, increasing the uses from 36 to 52. Additionally, the project also aims to develop an option modality for the farmers. Yeah, next slide. So the progress still there is that the intermediate tank has been constructed with 5,000 liters capacity. Next. And I said the pipeline and flow meters have also been laid out, and the canal system has been totally replaced. And now they have a 1,300-meter long pipeline system. Next. Yeah, regarding the operational modality and tariff, this was through consultation with the user company themselves. Now the users will be increased from 36 to 52. They were currently paying 60 per hour for members and like 150 per hour for non-members. And while doing through electric pump, it was like 105 for members and 200 for non-members. But now even those with the small land areas can subscribe through a minimal subscription fee of 500, and they can use the system at around 5.27 per meter cube of water if the entire extent of the SIP is considered, or if only the O&M cost is considered, it can be at around 2.7 or 2.17 per meter cube. So what they will do now is like the users will, based on their current practice, they will tell the hourly requirement of their hourly uses per month. And the operator in turn will provide a fair term to everyone, since parallel uses of the system is possible now, as 2 liters per second will be maintained in every plot minimum. So the operator will prepare the bill on the first of every month and generate a QR for 52 users, like the dynamic QRs, which can be used for tariff payments. And those who pay within the 15th of the billing month also get a 2% discount, and those who don't, there are time periods for like fines and all that as well, for outliers and for avoiding outliers and all that. Next. And regarding digitizations, an initial survey showed that in the 52 household, 96% household has smartphones, and 81% of them use some form of internet or mobile banking. And now they have a common account in NIMB, and they will, and most of them will be switching towards QR payment and billing. And this will be handed over to the operator of the SIP. Next. Yeah, regarding the research part, these are the 6 SIPs that have been identified, and these are the parameters that we will use to compare between our pre and post installation of our site versus the existing scenario over there. Next. And these are the ways ahead. So in Kuleni, 29 flow meters remain to be installed, which will be installed by February 12, and the 3 at SLA and 3 are a total of 15 will be installed. Post installation, the first set of tests we're doing is like for full flow test to verify that the 2 liters to verify that 2 liters per second is maintained in all the plots, and to see, and also the maximum flow rate when only one bulb is open, the flow rate versus time to irrigate 1 hectare land, the time needed to fill the intermediate tank, and additional land irrigated, because since we have said that 14 hectares will be covered by this. And the research will be carried on till June, and we have a local staff station there who is constantly talking about the technology, and as well as training the group for regarding these payments, regarding the EKL system and all that. And we are assuring a handover to the citizen scientists upon the end of the project. So the users are being trained on billing system, studying then QR generation, QR payments, and database management as well. And the research part, as I said before, will be looking at these parameters, and also we will be referring the groundwater level that is being provided through the logger that is placed by ASC. So yeah, this is it for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So these are just some experiments that we've been able to initiate under the project. These are journeys which are ongoing, and we hope that someday they will become successful ones will get picked up and more mainstream. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful. And let's go for coffee.